The Atlantic Ocean is boiling hot right now, friends. And as we go into the hurricane season, it looks like this year will be a doozy. We have a bunch of predictions coming out there. I want to point you in some directions of information. And also, if you are potentially in the path of any of these hurricanes coming this year, what you can do now to get a jump start on things. That and a whole bunch more. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. And this is not a weather channel, okay? I am not a meteorologist, though I may know a little bit more than some of these meteorologists that are all out there talking about warming stuff and everything like that. Anyway, we're going to point you in some directions. You can do your own research after this, but definitely dig into this a little bit. If you're anywhere near the Gulf Coast of the United States, or if you're in the Caribbean, make sure you're paying attention to this, because the numbers that we're seeing out there are getting a lot of people rather concerned. Hot oceans spawn more cyclones or hurricanes, whatever you want to call them. The hottest year on record for the Atlantic Ocean was 2005, which spawned Katrina, as well as 3 other Category 5 storms. And they had a record number of 15 storms actually made landfall across the Caribbean, and we had 7 of them actually hit the United States, causing a lot of damage. Dennis as well. But this is what we're saying out there is, of course, hurricane prediction is notoriously rough to do, but we're seeing a correlation between warmer water in the Atlantic and stronger and more hurricanes coming off of it. So as we're about to start into hurricane season, these numbers, seeing that even 2005 was colder on the Atlantic than it is right now. Now, some people are out there saying space lasers and weather modification and all this kind of stuff like that. I will say this, that when you're talking about heating an ocean, there ain't that much energy out there. Like the amount of energy that it would take to heat up the Atlantic Ocean, if you're one government or another, is just mind-boggling. So if people are actually doing this intentionally, we're in a world of hurt. Okay, so that said, we're just looking at the numbers and we're seeing that it is a lot warmer than even in 2005, and it's by a wide margin. So we may see a very, very strong and powerful set of storms come across Florida, the Gulf Coast, Texas, Louisiana. So if you're in those areas, you should be paying attention. Paying attention to storm alerts out there for sure. We have weather.com out there saying that the outlook is even more active than even the forecast in a bunch of the previous years, right? They're all kind of hedging their bets in this. NOAA predicts the whatever the Oceanic Atmospheric Administration thing is, they're predicting 85% chance or more that it is going to be an above average year when it comes to hurricanes. That's as close as they get to giving a certainty, because if they go any higher than that and it doesn't happen, they're going to look like total idiots. So bureaucrats are just covering their rear ends. But there's a number of channels out there on YouTube talking about this that are weather channels more. And if this gets your flag up or your interest, and you're like, I want to hear more about that, well, then go to the weather channels that can talk to you more about that. What I'm going to talk to you now about is more what to do with this information. And we should be doing something with this information. If you're in Hurricane Alley down there, do you have a bug out location prepared? Do you know where you're going to go? Do you have friends or family members outside the area that you can arrange things with so that you can go there? Potentially pre-deploy some resources, things at that location. If they can, maybe you can get some of your stuff up there. So when you leave out of Florida or wherever you are, You can already be like heading towards stuff. You don't have to have as much stuff in the car because you know that, basic clothing, other things that you might forget are already there and there. Also, what about things that you absolutely need to take out of your home in Florida, right? In case your home gets absolutely destroyed. Do you have all your documents? Do you have all those things in a safe place? Now, you may be able to put that stuff in a safe deposit box in Florida. You may be able to put that in a good storage place. Or if you know someone who has a very structurally strong home, maybe you can store stuff there. There's also ways that you can store things that are going to be protected from flooding and storms. You can build a storage site on your property that will be secure for you to put some valuables in that will be able to be locked up. So lots of things to be thinking about that way. But do you have a bug out location? Where will you go if a storm is coming in at your home? Do you have a place to go? Set that up if you can. And see if you can deploy some stuff there as it is. But then, do you have things at your home to secure your home? Do you have boards to go over the windows? Do you have all that stuff? Do you have the tarps? You might want to go get it now because you don't want to hear about the storm and then by the time you get to the store, they're already wiped out of all the stuff. Get that stuff now. In fact, if you're thinking ahead, you might be able to get on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. You might be able to get some of that stuff for free or cheap right now when no one else is paying attention, right? Some people might be like, we got all these boards sitting around. Let's see if we can get somebody to come pick them up. Well, when the storm's coming, you ain't going to get deals like that, right? Maybe you can get cheap tarps right now. Lots of things that you can do if you're thinking ahead. You can save a lot of money and make sure that you are stocked up and prepared to secure your home before you leave. Also be thinking through security. What can you do not just to secure your home from a storm, but also from all the bad people that may be trying to mess with your home after the storm, right? So think through your security procedures. Are there doors that you can upgrade? Locks that you can upgrade? Just think through things like that, right? A little bit of foresight can save you a lot of grief later. Also, bug out kit. Do you have an idea of exactly what you need to take with you if you need to leave? Nobody wants to think about leaving their home, okay? You don't want to leave your home, I'm sure. And if a hurricane comes, you very well be like, I'm going to ride it out. And okay, but when you have a Category 5 hurricane barreling down on you and people are all like, yeah, it's going to be worse than any hurricane we've seen so far, or something like that, or for whatever reason, that is, you may have to leave. You may be forced to leave. There's always that, right? If you're forced to leave, do you have lists of things that you need to take with you? Do you have a kit or kits that you can do? Like I always recommend, not so much having a kit, but having tubs of stuff. That way you can kind of modify the kit depending on kind of why you have to leave and kind of where you're going. That's a good idea, having it kind of modular so you can kind of tailor it to what you're doing. I mean, if you're bugging out to a place where you don't need to take food with you, well then your go kit or your bug out kit doesn't necessarily need to have food in it, right? Other times you might need to take a lot of food and you want to have a heavy food kit. So having some tubs of stuff that you can just go through quickly and have everything at your fingertips that you might need to take with you. You have water filters in there. You have backpacks to load up with whatever you need to take with you. Clothes maybe for folks and for the kids and everything like that, so that you can very quickly go through, grab what you need, and get out of there. But then also have lists of things that need to happen in your home before you leave. Your most important documents, are they going with you or are they secured? What needs to be battened down before you leave? Making sure that you have checklists. Checklists are just so important to make sure you shut off the water, shut off the power before you go. Whether you need to have any security lights, having LED battery-powered lights so you can shut off the power and yet still make it look like the home is being occupied is a great thing to do. So lots of things to think through, lots of things to prepare for. Big thing out there, friends. Are there trees overhanging your house? That's something to be thinking about. Getting somebody out there to cut down a tree and to clean up a tree so it doesn't come down on your home could save you a lot of grief, right? Take care of those things now. Think ahead, be proactive, and figure out how to make sure that you, your home, and even your loved ones and people around you, making sure that they're prepared for the storm. There may be a storm this year for you. There may not be a storm this year for you. If you're not in the Gulf Coast and you're not anywhere near those things, have you thought about whether you might be able to go down and help with disaster relief? There's a lot of volunteer opportunities through organizations, particularly religious organizations, and there's also secular opportunities too, to go through like Red Cross or someone else like that. Have you checked in to see if you might be able to help out? If so, and you have a desire to do so, you might need to get some certifications, you might need to go to some trainings. You can do those things now before the storm hits, and then you might be able to be prepared to go and be a part of helping out, right? So that's another thought there too. And you know, if you're up north somewhere or you're a little out of the ways, maybe you can take in some temporary refugees who come up from the Gulf Coast to avoid a storm. Just lots of things to think about. You know, you may even be able to be a blessing to people that are hiding in hotels near you to avoid the storm. You might be able to go and hand out some stuff or be a blessing to people elsewhere. But just as we go into this storm season, it looks like we may have more hurricanes than we normally do. And that means that you need to be prepared, and you need to be prepared to help other people if you're of that persuasion as well. All right, friends, you might be asking yourself, if they shut off the water because of a storm or any other reason, how will I make clean drinking water? You know, and thinking about water filters and everything like that. There's lots of information out there, but I just put out a video on my Poplar Prepper channel about how you can make water, clean drinking water from just a plastic bottle. And this is a plastic bottle or a mason jar. And if you want to check out that video, I'm going to put it right up here for you to check out. Just click on that and head on over there to go check out that video. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.